Welcome back, guys. Here we are with the BISS core, and I'm just up here because I want to just spin this baby around a little bit and get it kind of ready for docking, and then I'm going to turn SAS on because we haven't got a lot of electricity left. So you know what? Let's turn SAS off. But that alignment should be fairly good for when we dock the next module. Right, let's go and build the next module. Now, the thing about solar panels is that they look really, really, really cool. So we want to make sure that this looks as cool as possible. So that's what we're going to try and do. So how are we going to design this? Now, a lot of people use these modular girders. And then put the solar panels on these modular girders, and yeah, it kind of looks good and whatever, but look at the weight of one of these. This is 1.25 in mass, 0.125 in mass, so they're relatively heavy when you compare them to other things. Like, for example, if we look at a battery and we take one of these Z200 rechargeable batteries, that's only got a mass of 0.01. Okay, so it's like less than a tenth of the weight of one of those structural girders. So I thought, how about if we actually build our structure out of batteries and kind of kill two birds with one stone? So that's kind of what we're going to do. We're going to try, because I haven't tried this. This is going to be fun. 12, 13. 14, 15. Does that look about right? And I love the fact it's got all the electrical symbols down the side. That looks very cool. Okay, you know what? Let's try that as our base. Then we're going to use solar panels. Now, there are two types of solar panels. There are these ones, which are not shielded, and you can't retract them. You can extend them, but you can't retract them. These ones you can extend and you can retract, so we're going to use these ones. They're a bit more expensive. These are only $380, but these are only like a little bit more expensive. I think it's worth spending the money, so we'll have some of these. So photovoltaic panels. Now, the way that these extend, you see where the sticker is, the yellow sticker, this yellow sticker, right? They're going to extend from a little pod, or a little pole that's going to come out kind of here, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to spin this round. Well, not that way. That way. We're going to spin them around that way. So let's come down and we'll start. I guess we'll start from the bottom. Actually, you know what? What we're going to do? We're going to put the first one there. Then we're going to copy that. And we're going to put the next one, and I'm going to overlap them slightly. I was having a look at how the solar panels stack, and I found that if you just overlap them, you see. Let me put that one down. Actually, you see this kind of line inside. This is the hatch that opens, and if you stack them so that you get those lines kind of overlapping like that, right? I think that looks really good. Now, it's just me. You may want to do it slightly differently, but I think that looks very cool. And I'm using these 1x6 modules. That extends a panel that's 1 wide and 6 long. So these are the longest. There are also these 3x2s that you can use. Right, so we'll carry on copying these and overlapping them. There. Right, so how's that looking? I don't think that looks too bad. Right, so now we're going to go around to the other side. Now, you're probably wondering why I didn't put symmetry on. In fact, you were probably screaming at Skye saying, "You bonehead, you haven't put symmetry on." The problem is, if you put symmetry on, because of the way these panels open, because they'll open, I think, from the bottom. So there's a when you open them, you know what? I could open one for you, couldn't I? No, I can't. You got to be actually using it to extend them. In order to get this symmetrical, so that it looks the coolest, you actually want this facing the same way on both sides. And if you do symmetry, let me show you. So I'm going to replace this one. So I've just put symmetry on, and I'll replace this one. So if you do this, can you see the sticker is on this side, whereas on this side it's on that side. All right, we want all the stickers on the same side. So yeah, close enough. Right, so now that is, I think, 6. Yeah, 6. So we've got 6 panels. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now these things generate, I think, 1.2 volts per second, compared to the static panels, which are about it's about half a volt per second. So these are a lot more powerful, and we've got a bunch of them. So this is going to be a pretty powerful array, but we've got to connect it and do all kinds of things. So we need more components. Right, what are we going to put on? Right, we've got our Clampertron docking port. So what we'll do is we'll put a docking port. Now see, I need to be looking at it from the side in order to get this to snap. There we go. Now these panels will, I checked this, the panels will extend through the docking panel. So that's cool, that's not a problem. You know, I'm kind of tempted to, I'm kind of tempted to put an extra battery on this, just to give us a little bit of extra room at each end. Shall I do that? Do you think that would be a good idea? I think that might be a good idea. So I think we'll put an extra battery on that end, and an extra battery, just to give us a bit of extra clearance for docking and stuff like that. I think that's a sound idea. So we'll pop one of those on there, and that looks better, I think. Yeah. Good. Okay, and then we'll do the same at the bottom, remembering that we need to flip this over and snap. And I must admit, my OCD is telling me that I should realign these so that these are absolutely perfectly aligned between the top and the bottom coupler, but I'm not going to. I'm going to live with that as it is. It's good enough. It's certainly good enough. Okay, so that is going to be the power module that we're going to be attaching. Now, several people commented and said on the last video and said, "Oh, you bonehead, you forgot to put RCS on the space station." No, I didn't. We're not going to have RCS on the space station, because the RCS will be on the Tug, and that will be responsible for docking these kind of. So things that dock with the space station will have RCS. But things that are going to be static parts of the space station won't have RCS. It's got a nice big control wheel, inline reaction wheel, on the space station already. So if we need to make any changes to its attitude, then we can do that. So there we go. So right, so that's our base. Now we're going to be taking up 2 modules, because as well as taking this up, right, we're also going to take our Tug. Oh yeah. So what do we want? Well, we're going to want, first thing is we're going to want a docking clamp. Right. So we want one of these that we snap onto there. There we go. This is going to be a bit funny taking off, but I don't know. I might end up putting a couple of struts on here just to kind of strengthen this up, but we'll see. Okay, so we've got another docking port, and then we're going to take our command module. Now the question is, what are we going to use this thing for? It's going to be a tug, it's going to be also a rescue vehicle. So I think maybe we use a command pod for this. So rather than a one-man pod, we're going to use this. Now this is has a crew of 3. So one of our pilots can go out and he can rescue up to 2 Kerbals in this, which I think is kind of cool, and it looks kind of cool as well. And we want this to look cool. So okay, so I've just realigned the command module to get the hatch on this side, because I want all the hatches to line up. And if you rotate this, you'll find that the hatch won't necessarily line up with this side. So if you hold down the shift key, you can get this to rotate in much smaller increments rather than just like 90 degrees at a time. So just rotate it to where you want it and plop it on. So there we go. So we've got that. Right, it's time to put some fuel and an engine on our little space tug. So I think we're going to go for and now this carries like a hell of a lot of fuel. So I think we're going to go for one of these, just an X200. I don't think we need to go for anything more than that. I mean, to be honest, we could probably manage quite happily with an X200, but we're not sure when the next resupply mission is going to be. So so we'll take one of these. Now these things weigh a lot. This is like 9 tons. So we're up to about we're getting on for like 15 tons here. So this is also going to have to get us up into orbit because our launch vehicle won't handle that much weight. Right, we need an engine. Now what engine are we going to put on this? We're going to go with a Terrier, and to be honest, I think it's going to be better for when we're doing rescue missions with this. So we'll just have a little Terrier. Yep, cool. In that case, we'll finish this off by having we're structural. We need a Rockermax decoupler on here, right? And then we're going to have to put some struts on that. There we go. So we got some struts to hold that nice and steady. That should be cool. Right, and then all we need to do is plop this on top of our standard launch delivery mechanism. Now the launch vehicle I've already saved under a subassembly. If you go up here to this top corner, you can enable enhanced mode, and then you can go to subassemblies. And if you take like for example, if we took this part, we could drop this over here and we could name it, and that would become a subassembly. So that's how you create subassemblies. So we want this bonehead heavy, I've called it. So we just take one of those and we can just plop that on the bottom. How easy and simple is that? Very cool, isn't it? Right. Let's do this without the bottom stage in the way. It'll be much easier. Right, we want to put some RCS control on this, and we're going to use, let's go to command and control, we're going to use these Rcs Thruster Blocks. Now these will these are like up, down, sideways, but very precise control. So what we want to do is we want to find the center of mass for this thing. To be honest, this thing up here is so light, it's not going to be, it's not going to affect us. So let's find our center of mass. Okay, right. Now, obviously, as this loses fuel, this is going to move, but we're kind of almost in the center anyway, so it's probably not going to make a whole hell of a lot of difference. So I'm going to put these in, and I'm going to have. I think we'll just have 4 of them. I don't think we need to have any more than that. So let's just go up to a symmetry of 4, and yeah, kind of about. We're going to lose this down here. Yeah, you know, probably kind of around there-ish. Is going to be pretty good. All right, cool. So we've got our RCS. Now this this module here comes with some monopropellant, which is what is used to fuel these thrusters. But to be honest, it's not enough. We're going to need more than that. So we're going to add on. Where's our fuel tanks? We're going to add on some of these. Now it would have been really nice if we'd had some inline tanks like this to use, but we don't have any of those yet. So we're going to use these Stratus 5 cylindrified monopropellant tanks, and we're just going to like glue 4 of them on the side like this. There we go. Which it's kind of, I've got to say, I kind of like this. It's kind of a weird little looking thing. I like weird stuff. Cool. There's one more thing I'm gonna add, which is some power. This thing needs some power to run. You know what? I'm gonna put 4 on. Like, what the hell? I'm gonna put 4 on. Not only that, I'm also gonna put a battery on this, because it doesn't have a battery at the moment. So let's put a battery on it. We'll pop a couple of nice big 400s on it. Actually, I'm going to move this down I don't want to cover up the Kerbal logo. That's the only thing. And then I'm going to put a couple of illuminators up the top. Let's zoom in so I can see which way these are pointing. So we want these pointing that way. There we go. Like that. So we can see where we're going. Which is kind of nice. Oh, like how... You know, if it wasn't for the crew access being there, I would have actually put 4 of these on. But we'll live with 2. We'll live with 2. I've got to say, I really like this little tug. By the way, the names of these, you may have noticed up here. This module up here, this is the... now, I think I've spelt his... I think I've spelt his name wrong. Yeah, it's Komoko. I've spelt it Komomo. Sorry about that. That should be Komoko. The Komoko power module. And although this is not the design that he suggested, he actually suggested like 4 sets of panels in different alignments, 4 rings of panels. Yeah, I'm still giving it to him because he was the first one to come up with a power module. This bottom section is actually the No Mercy Rescue module, and this was suggested by No Mercy. So there you go. So if you want your modules named, get those coming in, because pretty much like it's first come first served. But by the way, people who are just saying, "Oh, can you just name it this?" No, I want people to at least come up with suggestions for designs. It's not like you just go, "Oh, just call it my name." Come on. Do a bit of work. Right, let's get this finished because we want to get this into space. So let's take strut. You know what? I think I'm going to take it off the module because it's kind of easier. And let's have it connected to about there. All right. Now, obviously, because this is going to be up in space and stuff, it doesn't need parachutes or anything like that. It doesn't need a heat shield, anything like that. Cool. Right. So, how is our staging? So we've got this, which would fire after we have jettisoned that, and oh no, we don't want that to jettison at the same time as those, right? So we need to put in an extra stage. Whoops. There we go. So we want to jettison that, right? Then when we're ready, we'll jettison that section. And once we've jettisoned it, we'll light it up. Okay, cool. There you go, guys. That is, we're putting up 2 new modules. It's time to go launch it and dock with the space station. You know, before I go out to the launch pad, I always do a double check on these things. And it's a good job I did, because I realised, and I'm sure you guys were screaming at the screen, I'd put the 3x2 voltaic panels down this side and the 1x6s down this side, so I've swapped them. The way that you can tell, by the way, is that the 1.6s are the Model Bs. If I zoom in close, you'll see these are Model Bs, whereas if you have the 3x2, I'll just pop one of those. Actually, if I just spin it round, you'll see. You can see this is a Model A. Oh, look, you can see that Model A. So you want the Model Bs. And the other thing I did was I remembered, because I said at the beginning that I was going to put some structural struts down here, and I decided, yeah, good idea, because these battery things aren't going to be like structurally that strong, so just putting an extra couple of struts on here is just going to improve the rigidity. Right, I think that is it. We're now ready to launch. Okay, let's get this puppy in the air. Our pilot for this mission is Melise Kerman. We'll be cruising at an altitude of approximately 100 kilometers. Make sure your seats are in the upright position and your tray tables are stowed away. Right, let's put SAS on. Thrust to max and ignition. Now, because we've played around with the command module, we're not oriented to 90 degrees the way we normally are. So the first thing we want to do is just have a bit of a rotation just to bring us round, so 90 degrees is in the normal place. Just makes life easier. Here we go. A little bit more. Okay, cool. We can push this over a few degrees just to give us a bit of a head start. There we go. Not too much with these boosters, otherwise they'll rip the bottom of your craft off. Okay, we're almost up to jettisoning the first fuel tanks. Come on, let's do it. Go, go, go. I'm going to throttle back actually to about 10% because we're almost up to 200 meters per second. We don't really want to go much faster than that at this point. Now, to be honest, it's just a case of us getting up there into a stable orbit. Okay, so I've just finished a burn to put us into a pretty nice orbit. Now we've used probably close to half the fuel from the tug, but that's okay. We're not going to use very much more fuel, and we'll be able to refuel it. And I'll talk to you in future episodes about how we're going to resupply, and the resupply is going to be really cool. Right now, I've already found the BISS core, which is here, and we're just up ahead here, right? So we need the BISS core to catch up with us. How do we do that? Well, by being in a higher orbit. Right, so the BISS core is currently at an altitude of 121. We are at 116 at this point. But the BISS tends to drop down at its periapsis. So let's see, where is it? Its apoapsis is 122, but its periapsis is 96. We are at 116 and 115. That's a pretty nice circular orbit, isn't it? Did a good job there. So, like, overall, we are going to be catching it up, but probably fairly slowly. So I'm actually going to have to put us into a slightly higher orbit. So what I'll probably do, I'll probably raise us up in orbit by maybe, say, 4 kilometers. And then if you take that difference of 4 kilometers and multiply it by 7, that is the amount of distance you will make up or lose from your target on each orbit. Okay, so we've got to make our target has to make up 570 kilometers. It's got to catch us up by 570 kilometers. So what we need to do is get into a higher orbit so that we're traveling slower, and then it'll be catching us up by a certain amount each time. So I'll correct that orbit and get this catching us up, and I'll come back to you when these are going to get pretty close. Okay, so I've raised our apoapsis up to 120 kilometers. Our periapsis is still at 116, and now each orbit we're reducing our separation by 80 kilometers. So at the last change it was 500. So if we zoom this up, warp up to times 50, right, and you can see it's come down now to 412. So it's going to be a total of 5 orbits, should bring us pretty darn close. We can't go, unfortunately we can't go any faster than this. So we'll bring it round one more time, I think, just so that you can see. So 412, let's see what it comes down to at the next one. It should be about 330, something like that. So here we come, here we are, that's us, and then there's the BISS catching us up. So 412, 330, bang on. How about that? Right, so a couple of more orbits, and then we can start our maneuver burns. Okay, well, things have worked out pretty nicely. I did a little retro burn just to slow us down a tiny bit. Brought our apoapsis down to 117, and that was on the last orbit. And look, we got a separation at the next intersect of just 4.4 kilometers, which is pretty much perfect. And over here we've got an intersect of 23 kilometers. So this is the one that we're going to be aiming for over here. And we can probably get this a little bit closer if I just do a little retro burn. And you can play around with this. just do a very, very small burn and see what happens. Now, where do I want to do this? We've just passed our periapsis, so that's fine. So I'm just going to like watch this and see if this number comes down or goes up. If it goes up, I'll stop. If it comes down, we'll see how close we can get. So, oh, see, it's going up, right? So in that case, we flip it around and we'll do a prograde burn just to speed up a little bit. So, I do love SAS. It's a wonderful thing. So 5 kilometers. Oh, 4.4. Oops. 4.1, 2.9, 2.4, 2.1. Oh, we're very close. Okay, we're getting it down to 0.9 kilometers. So less than a kilometer. That's fine. So what we'll do now is we'll warp on until we get there. And then we're going to start a maneuver burn. So I'm going to bring it round to probably just before. So probably about there. So like 90 degrees. And I'm focusing on Kerbin at the moment. And look, there's BISS. BISS core coming into view. Just coming under 20 kilometers. So we'll check what our speed difference is. So it's coming in at 80 meters per second. Right, well, it's 19 kilometers away. This isn't too high, so we're going to let it carry on coming in. So let's just warp this up. And here she comes. Can't really see it yet, but let's carry on warping. And as you can see, she's coming up to us. 4.9. Now the closest point is going to be what did I say? Round about 1 kilometer. So I think we'll get to within 2 kilometers, and then we'll probably do our first burn. So yeah, you know what? Like around now is fine, I think. You know what? I might just get a little bit. Let's get to within a kilometer. Right, let's do it. Let's do it. So we want to flip around to our retrograde. Oh, this is a funny looking thing. Doesn't this look like a, I don't know, like a laser cannon or something? Shark. It's a shark with a laser cannon on his head. Right, we're now going to do a retro burn to take off the difference in our speed, which is currently 30 meters per second. So let's crank up a burn. Here we go. And now I'm going to do it kind of gently. 3, 2, 1. And knock off the last little bit. There we go. Awesome. And you can see that the BISS is slightly above us, and funnily enough we've been burning out in that direction. Well, what do you know? Right, so now we're going to change to the pink prograde icon, which if we can find it, where is it? Oh, there we go. So that's the retrograde, the pink retrograde. We want the pink prograde. Here we go. Okay, so we point at that, and we're going to increase this to, let's see, we're less than a kilometer out, so probably about 10 meters per second, something like that. So let's have a little burn. 10 meters per second. Whoa, look at that, 10.0. Perfect. So let's warp this up and bring it in till it's inside, I don't know, maybe a couple of 100 meters even. Okay, now we're going to spin it round to the retrograde again, and we're going to do the same again. And we're going to keep doing this until we're matched exactly with the BISS. So let's take off our difference. Just very gently. A little bit more. 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Right, cool. And then we go to the prograde, the pink prograde, which should be up here. Here we go. And the same again. And again, like, you want to be like pretty spot on with these burns. So let's, this time I think we only need like a couple of meters per second, like maximum, I think. In fact, like Probably 1.5. Nah, you know what to. What the hell? What the hell? Let's get this done quickly. You can now see that the difference between the BISS and us is very small. So let's get ready with the retrograde. Our orbits are almost synchronous, almost perfection, and you can tell because your pink and green icons will be very, very close together. Okay, we're within 30 meters. I'm going to cancel the difference between us. A little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. There we go. And we're pretty much stationary in space now. It's actually moving away from us. So we'll now flip around to the prograde, the pink prograde, which should be pretty much identical to our. In fact, it's identical to our retrograde because it's moving away from us. So let's cancel that motion. Right. So there you go. We are now in an identical orbit, and we're only 20 meters apart, guys. That's pretty darned cool. Okay, at this point, we're going to switch. Well, actually, yeah, we're going to switch RCS on. Okay, and we're going to start our docking procedure. Now, the first thing that you want to do is you want to get your ship lined up with the docking port. Okay, so obviously we want to be pointing in. Well, let me do it. So, if the docking port is there, then we want to be pointing in that direction. So we'll spin this around, and I'm just using the regular WASD keys at this. Okay, so I'm now pointing in the direction that I want to dock with this. Probably want to come around a little bit more to be 90 degrees. And we can refine this later. No, you know what? I think I was right the first time. So, it's very deceptive, the views. Right, that's not bad. That's not bad. I want to probably point down a tiny bit. Okay. Now, in addition, because we've got RCS switched on, in addition to our regular WASD, you've also got the I, J, K, and L keys. And the J and L keys move you sideways, and the I and K keys move you up and down. And then you'll thrust forward using your normal shift and control, but to move backwards it's the N key. Okay, so, and you'll kind of get used to it. Right, so we want to move laterally in this direction. Okay, which is, and these are inverted, and it confuses, I gotta say, it confuses the hell out of me. Right, you know what, I'm actually going to rotate so that we're in that alignment. Okay, and this is important for two reasons. One, because it makes it easier, because your I, J, K, and L keys are working in up and down and side to side, relative to the position of the spacecraft. And two, because we want our solar panels arrayed in to come out this way, so lateral to this, because it'll look nicer. It's the only reason. Okay, we are. Whoops, we're going to start moving closer to the BISS core. So let's nudge it over here, and we're just trying to get ourselves pointing directly at the docking port. Right, now we can start to slow down. Here we go. Right, looking good. Now we can start to move down a little bit. So let's move down relative to the docking port. So here we go. And stopping that. Okay, and we need to move back this way a little bit now. Okay, that'll do. Right, at this point I'm going to nudge us forward, and I'm actually going to realign the spacecraft a little. There we go, because I don't think we're pointing quite at it. And you can zoom out and you can get your views, and you can kind of see how lined up you are. Okay, we're going to nudge forward, and very, very slightly. Very, very slightly. And I'm just going to adjust to be bang on the pink prograde icon, because I want to be moving directly towards it. So there, and whoop, down a bit. There. There we go. It's still moving away from us slightly, so I'm going to... Another little bit of thrust. Oh, okay. Now it's creeping down. So we'll have a little bit more. So we're moving towards it now at 0.2 meters per second. And you want to do this slowly. You have to be patient when you're docking. It's not a quick process. We can speed this up just a little bit. And like 0.6 meters per second, that's heading towards it like relatively quickly. You can see we're only 15 meters away now, and we are getting fairly nicely lined up with this. Oh, looking good, looking good. In fact, if we just move the nose round a little bit, there we go. How are our solar panels looking? Solar panels are looking good. Ooh, that's not too bad. We need to come up just a little bit. Now, when we get close enough, this will magnetically grapple. Oh, boom, and we are docked. And just perfect timing, just as we were going into nighttime. And now the coolest thing. Up here, here's your lights button. You can turn on all the lights on your vehicle with this button. So, boom, and there we go. We light up. Ho 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 ho. Isn't that cool, guys? Oh, loving it. Absolutely loving it. And there we are. That's it. We are docked. Now, what I'm going to do at this point, I'm going to speed things up until we get around into daylight again, because what I want to show you next has to be definitely done in daylight. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to undock the our rescue ship, the No Mercy rescue ship, because I don't want it docked onto here. That was just to put it on there. So what do? Well, I click on this docking port over here, and say control from here. Yeah, okay. And we want to decouple this node. Make sure you're on the right. Oops, hang on. Yeah, we want to decouple this node. Oh, and there we go. We are now decoupled. Right. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to move this around, and I'm going to dock on this end. So we're going to set RCS on, and we're just going to move, whoop, wrong way. We're going to move over here slightly. Just a little bit. It's so relaxing and peaceful playing this game. Right, let's cancel that lateral movement. Okay, now I'm going to bring it forward a little bit. Here we go. Until I get close to where I want to be. Then I'm just going to slow us down. So I'm just trying to get to the point where the ship is going to be kind of just behind this port. And we can actually set this port if we want as our target. It tells you exactly how far away you are from it. Okay, so I'm now going to cancel that forward movement, I think, at that point. Cool. Now we can turn this around. Oh, wrong way. We can turn this around. And look how lights are shining on it to illuminate it. How cool is that? Right, but we want to be properly aligned. So let's bring this up a little bit. Right, so we've now got ourselves pointing at 90 degrees to this, just the same way that we did before. Okay, so now and one little push forward, I think, and oh, it's going to be close. It's going to be close. And we are docked. Ho! 2 docking maneuvers. How about that? 2 for the price of 1, guys. Right now, we're going to have another one of these power modules over here. Which, you know what, I'm happy to name the other one something else, and certainly if somebody comes up with a cool idea. So yeah, right now where's the sun? There's the sun. Okay, now we're going to do the coolest part. So we spin this around. I want to get this pointing upwards. Touch more. Touch more. I'm being fussy now because I want this to kind of be very cool. All right, shall we do it? Let's do it. Here we go. So, the unveiling of the solar panels. And here they go. I wish I'd got action keys. I don't have the ability to create custom action keys at the moment. And that is the first set of panels. Oh, let's get the second set. Oh, I love doing this. This is kind of the best thing ever. Oh, no, I didn't want to do that. Next one. Extend and extend and extend. Oh, extend. There we go. And that is our full solar array. Pretty cool. Let's click and see. Oh, look, sun exposure 1 maximum. Energy flow 1.77, 1.77. When you add that up, that's a lot of power, guys. So let's go check our situation. And look, our electric charge is absolutely full. Everything is very happy, and we have got a very nice little ship going on. And we've got the tug there, so if we want to move ourselves in orbit now, we can. We've got our command module up here. We've got our scientists. Oh, and Melise can go and join the guys in here, and they can all party, have a good time. I gotta say, this is really coming together. I think we need another one of these on the other side to balance this out, and then we need to start kind of extending this. The great thing about these is that if we extend this, we can always move these and put them somewhere else. We just take our tug and pick this up and then just plop it somewhere else. Love the whole way that the space stations work. All right, you know what? That's it, guys. I'm waiting for your comments. I want more suggestions for modules that we can put on here, and I want you to be specific. And yeah, like, don't just say put my name on a module, right? You got to design a module. Come up with an idea for a cool module, and I will put your name on it. All right, guys. I'll see you next time. Peace out.